Welcome, everyone. It is episode 38 of the Dance to Oneness podcast. This week, I am speaking to a topic: how I created money for my first big access class. The first big access class I took was the foundation class. So, how did I create the money for my first access foundation class? Well, first off, let me tell you what kind of standard of living I had when I first found access. I was 27, 26. I think I was 26. Hi, Parissa. Welcome. I was 26. Let me know if you can hear me okay, Parissa. I'm trying a different setup tonight, so hopefully it's okay. So I was 26 and I was in my last year in college and I found access consciousness. I had no money. I had no job. I was studying full time. Um, and I had no real income streams. And I found access. And actually, the first bars class for me, even the money for the first bars class was a beyond. Um, and my facilitator friend at the time, Rachel O'Brien, the first thing she said to me that I really got, that really was the core of changing how I would create going to all the access classes I wanted to with ease, was she said to me, Amy, wouldn't you wouldn't you think that the universe wants you to be conscious? And wouldn't you think the universe wants you to become more conscious by going to classes that allow you to become more conscious? And I was like, yes, of course. So if that's the case, why wouldn't the universe support you in choosing consciousness? Why wouldn't the universe want you at those classes? Why wouldn't the universe assist you in creating the money for that? And that really resonated like deeply with me. I knew from a very early age I was here for consciousness. I was here to create something greater. I was here for oneness. And so when I found these classes of access and they were speaking to and conversations and body work and processes and bars that actually allowed me to become more conscious and putting to words what no one has ever put to words for before, but I always knew was possible. I knew, I knew that this was for me. And I had the awareness very early on that the universe would support me in this. So that was the number one point of view, or I guess awareness, getting that in the core of my universe really start to really support me in creating and going to these classes. So would you be willing to really get that the universe wants you to become more conscious? The universe will support you if you're choosing for consciousness. Now, that doesn't mean that the universe is going to create the money for you. That doesn't mean the universe that you can sit on the couch and just wait for the universe to drop the money off at your front door. So I got that, but then I also was willing, the third step, the willingness to demand of yourself. So it's not demand of the universe, it's demand of yourself, request of the universe. So I made the demand of myself that whatever it took, I was going to get to this foundation class. So just to backtrack a little bit, I the price of the bars class was a beyond for me back then. I asked the universe, I require to be at this class. I know that this will create greater for me. Please support me and show me the way. 2 weeks later, I got an unexpected Student of the Year award in college. And I went to the ceremony and they gave me a check for like €200. At the time, I think a bars class was €250. I was supposed to go to the bars class. I had asked the universe for the money. The universe had magically helped me create the money. I didn't go to that bars class. I took the money and I went and spent it on an iPod. 2 weeks later, the iPod broke. What I got from that was, when you ask for money for consciousness, use the money for consciousness. I asked for the money for consciousness, it showed up, and then I didn't use it for consciousness. I used it for some material need of mine, which ended up backfiring in my face. So from that bars class, I learned my lesson. I was like, okay, next time you ask for money, Amy, for consciousness, use it for consciousness. So how many of you have asked for money for consciousness and then not actually put it towards consciousness? everything that is, would you be willing now to destroy and uncreate it? And actually start being congruent with what you're asking for. If you ask the universe and it shows up, be willing to also deliver on your end too. So that kind of set the pavement for me towards my first foundation. I knew that I could ask, I knew that it would show up, and I knew that I could create it. I did not have a penny to my name. I didn't like the price of the first foundation class was a total beyond for me. But I used the first tool I got in the bars class, which is all the beyonds, creating the eternally beyonds, keeping me captive here. I now destroy and create it. And that takes you out of anywhere you're not willing to be present. And I wasn't willing to be present with money. And so choosing these classes really started to show me how I could create. And I'm so grateful to Access for the willingness to ask for ask for a sum of money that is beyond my comfort zone, because it shifted me out of where I thought I was limited and showed me where I could create. And so that first foundation class, I had no idea how I was going to get there. But I made the demand, okay, no matter what it takes, I'm choosing this. I'm demanding of me that I'm going to be there. I'm going to create this. And so I chose the class. I didn't have the money before I chose. And that's a really key element in creating whatever it is you're asking for, whether it's to get to a class or whether it's something else. You have to choose it first. See, we get creative when we choose. When we don't choose, we don't get creative. And so I made the choice and then I got really creative. So I made the choice, okay, no matter what it takes, I'm going to be there. I also saw myself there. I was like, I'm having that. Whatever it takes, whatever's required of me, whatever I have to be willing to do, be, have, create, generate, I'm choosing it. And then this creative energy started to come through me, you know? So I chose the class. I made the demand, no matter what it takes. I demanded of myself, and then I requested of the universe. So I didn't expect the universe just to hand me over the money. Um, it was great with the first bars class. I got that, award, but that's not going to happen every time you ask for money. So, or every time you ask to go to a class, that's not going to happen, or it may happen, but probably most likely will not, because there's also an energy too where you have to be willing to put in the work, and to let the universe know you're really having this, you're really choosing this. And so I made the demand of myself, and then I asked, okay, what can I be? What can I do? What can I create that will invite and bring in more revenue streams, more money into my life right away? And so this is where the creative energy came in. So I started going, okay, what's really easy for me, that can also make me money? And so I did a list and I was like, okay, what am I good at and what's easy for me and how can I make money doing this? And so like I did a list, and one was, okay, I just started teaching Access bars. I was like, okay, I can offer bars sessions. I can teach bars classes. Another one was cleaning. I was like, oh yeah, I really like cleaning. Not that I like it, it's just easy for me. It's like, okay, cleaning is easy for me. So I started to offer my services cleaning people's houses. I started cleaning my brother's house. And then I got even more creative and I reached out to friends of my father who, rent out houses. And I let him know, hey, when people move out of your houses and you want to re-rent them, I can come in and clean them. So I got some like bigger cleaning jobs. Um, and so I got really creative with, okay, what other ways can I create money with doing things that are easy for me? I started to look at, okay, I'm good at organizing, and I'm good at taking care of other people. So I started looking at all the different ways I could create more revenue streams. And I got to work. I started working. And one of the key elements here too is like when you are making a choice, you're asking for something greater, right? And you're asking, okay, what would it take to have that? And then you're getting to work, like you're going out in the world, you're being greater, you're being a greater invitation. You're inviting in more money, but you also have to you just asked for it. So I had to be very present with similar, that I didn't repeat the Access bars class story where I went out and spent the money on an iPad, and actually get, okay, I made the demand to be at this class. I'm creating greater as a result. Now the money is coming in. It didn't all come in one lump sum. So I started putting the money away. The extra money that I was creating from me making a demand to create being at this class was me putting away that money towards the class. So I made $100 off a client, or I made $100 cleaning the house, cleaning houses or something. Pay for the supplies, and then the rest went towards the class. I still was paying my rent. I still was paying my bills. So it's like, yeah, take care of your rent, take care of your bills, and then whatever extra that shows up that you asked for, because you asked to increase your revenue streams, put that away towards what you asked for it. So I see a lot of people, they're like, oh, the money never showed up right before the class. And I'm like, did the money not show up, or were you not present with your choices every day and actually being aware of being present, actually, really, And one of the things I did too is like, I prioritized what I was asking for. Like, I didn't go out and spend the money on clothes. I didn't go out and buy things that I didn't really need. I got really present with, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to these classes so my life can become greater. And if that means I don't go out and eat a meal out, or I don't, go shopping, I will forego those things because I'm going to do whatever it takes to create greater for me. And at the beginning, I had to. That was the demand I made of myself. After a while in creating and getting more creative in my own capacities, now it's like, okay, what if I can have it all? I don't have to do either or. So would you be willing to do whatever it takes to create what you know will create greater for you? And anywhere you allow yourself to be distracted by the need of this reality, can you destroy and uncreate it and let that go? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, on your shirts, boys, me ants. And that's the access consciousness clearing statement. So what if you didn't allow yourself to be distracted? Okay, I'm going to keep choosing. And because there is this energy too that comes along as well. I notice when we're choosing something greater, and then this reality or this world or some distraction will come in just to derail us. And one of the things that I had such a demand in my world, I wasn't going to allow myself be derailed any longer. Like, if you look back at my earlier example about the bars class, I allowed myself to be derailed and distracted. And I allowed my doubts and I allowed this reality to come in, the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of this reality, and derail me and distract me from choosing that bars class. Instead, I went away and bought an iPod that broke down 2 weeks later and didn't contribute to my life at all. But I derailed myself for a couple of months before I finally did take the bars class. So everywhere you are using the distractions of this reality to derail you from stepping up, being greater, and choosing greater for you in your life, can we now destroy and create it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, only shorts, boys, me ants. So Parissa just said, what does it take to be willing to choose and make the demand of ourselves? It's just what I talked about. The willingness to demand of you, no matter what it takes, the willingness to get to work, the willingness to choose every day choose. And the willingness to not allow yourself to be distracted and derailed. And the thing about it is, as well, is that we get creative when we choose. So our choices make us creative. So what could you be choosing that you're not allowing yourself to choose that would allow you to be more creative than you've ever been? And are you choosing big enough? How bigger would you have to choose to create way more than you ever think you could? And maybe it's not just one choice, maybe it's multiple choices. And the first foundation class for me, I actually wasn't even choosing that class. I wanted to get to a 3-day body class. There was a 3-day body class coming to Ireland with Shannon O'Hara and Grace Douglas. It was their first time facilitating together, and they came to Ireland. And I knew I required it to be at that class. Don't ask me why. I knew nothing about the class. I just knew it was body work, and I knew I required body work. And I remember saying to, my friend Rachel, I'm going to that class. And she goes, well, Amy, you need a foundation class first. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And that was a double beyond, because it's like, now I have to create the money for foundation and 3-day body. But I didn't let it stop me. I was like, okay, well, so foundation, I need to do that first. Let me create that. And then I created that. And then I turned around after foundation and I used all the tools I had in foundation to create getting to 3-day body. And I continued that way. I kept using the tools I was given to create greater, to choose greater. So where is it that you're not asking for big enough? What could you be asking for that would inspire you to get really creative? So Marissa said, there's so much that I ask for that I'm not willing to choose. Okay, that's a good point to that's a good awareness to have. There's a lot of things we ask for, but we're not willing to choose it. So it won't show up unless we're willing to choose it. So I said every year for about 7 years, I said I was going to a 7-day. And I think I did the same for CF, for certified facilitators. I think every year for like 5 years, I said I was going there, but I wasn't actually choosing it. And when I got, okay, I'm not actually choosing this. How about when I'm actually choosing it, then I'll ask for it. And when I got the energy, the energy. That's the thing. You said, I wonder what it would take to be willing. The energy when you're willing to choose it. So what if it's okay? Not choosing is also a choice. So everywhere you buy that not choosing is wrong and choosing is right, which keeps you in a catch-22 and a polarity. So you're always wrong and always right and always right and always wrong. Can we destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pock, only shorts, boys, means. So again, access consciousness clearing statement. Learn more about that in the access bars class and the foundation class. So what if you actually looked at all the things you're asking for that you're not willing to choose and ask, what is it that you're not willing to choose here? What is it that I'm not willing to be here? Because usually there's an energy we're not willing to be. And then you can also ask, when is the time for this? Let me know when the time is. And you can also ask, when will this actualize? And what if you didn't judge yourself? What if it's not wrong? What if you could have allowance for you, for what you are willing to choose and for what you're not willing to choose right now? And when you're ready, you're ready. What if time wasn't relevant? When you're ready to receive it, you're ready to receive it. When you're ready to choose it, you're ready to choose it. In the meantime, you could ask, what am I refusing to be here? What am I refusing to receive? But what if you didn't try to force yourself to choose that which you're not ready or willing to choose yet? And what if that's okay? And what are you willing to choose right now that you could acknowledge? And how much energy are you putting into looking at all the things you're not willing to choose when you could be actually looking at what you are willing to choose and acknowledge and create towards that? So one of my favorite questions is, what's in front of me right now asking to be chosen? And put my energy on that. Because a lot of times we're constantly looking out, projecting into the future, thinking we need to be somewhere else, not where we are right now. And we're always trying to get ahead and get forward rather than looking at, okay, what's in front of me asking to be chosen? And what if I choose that? And how present can I be with me today? How much gratitude can I have for me today? And what if choosing isn't about a destination either. What if it wasn't about, I need to get here? You know, one of the joys of creating the money for the foundation class was I got facilitated so much in the creation of that. By the time I got to that first foundation class and I had paid for the class by myself, I didn't take out a loan. I didn't put on, and that's another thing. I never got into credit card debt to go to any classes. I never put any classes on a credit card. I always created the money before the class. That was what would create ease for me. It doesn't create ease for me to have debt or credit card debt. I would only put something on a credit card if I knew I could pay it off afterwards, right away afterwards, or by the end of the month before the interest kicks in. So I using the tools and seeing that, oh my God, I can actually create. I am creative. I can actually create money. Empowered me so much. By the time I got to that first foundation class, I had already been facilitated so much in getting there and using the tools. So, what if it isn't about the destination or the goal? And what if you could enjoy the journey of it? Enjoy what you're being facilitated, enjoy stepping up. You know, one of the beautiful things for me is whenever I choose an access class or choose something greater in my life, the choice makes me so creative. The choice inspires me to get creative, that is also so much part of the joy of choosing and the joy of creation. Your life and you get an upgrade. And what if you could enjoy that upgrade every day instead of waiting until you get the result you've decided you need to get from your choice? Whew. So everything doesn't know that. Let's destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, only shirts, boys, means. And what if you didn't need anything? What if you didn't need to get to the class? What if you didn't need to choose anything? And what if you could actually just have it for the joy of it and for the fun of it? How much fun would this be? And choose from that energy. Okay, guys. So that kind of sums it up. So if I could just wrap it all up in a nice bow for you, whatever you're asking money for, whether it's an access class or whether it's a training or whatever it is, please, please, please start to get that the universe will always support you when you're choosing consciousness. Number 2, if the universe will support you, would you be willing to also demand it of yourself? Number 3, demand of yourself, request of the universe. Number 4, be willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what you have to do, no matter what you have to give up, no matter what you have to gain. Are you willing to make that demand of you? Number 4, choose it first. Don't wait until you have the money. Make the choice, choose it, see yourself with it, see yourself there. Have it, that energy. I'm having it no matter what it takes. And you know when you have that energy and you know when you don't. And when you don't, you're just not choosing it. And that's okay. But when you do have that energy, you know you're choosing it. You know you're having it. When the doubt comes in, when the distractor implants come in, when you start to feel, oh, should I bother doing this? Or I'll just do something else instead. Ask, am I being derailed or am I distracting myself here? Be willing to choose every day towards that which you're asking for. And then every day, what can I be? What can I do? What can I add? What other revenue streams can I create here? Then what's so easy for me that could also make me money? Be willing to choose that. And then when you ask for money for consciousness and the money comes for consciousness, put it away and use it for what you asked for. And then your life upgrades as you ask. So enjoy the upgrade and the journey and be willing to go on the journey and not make it about the outcome. If you're not invested in the outcome, it can show up a lot faster and easier for you. And then the last piece, you get creative when you choose. So choose and you will get more creative. If you don't choose anything, you don't get as creative. So be willing to choose greater, choose more, and get more creative. Okay, guys, so that's it for tonight. I do have an online foundation class coming up, which inspired tonight's topic, and because I know that money is a big issue for a lot of people, and it's the reason we don't allow. It's the reason we use to stop ourselves. Money, time, and energy are the three excuses we use to stop ourselves. And what if you didn't use money as a reason to stop you anymore? So anyone who is looking for an online foundation class, I have one coming up in Wednesday, 2 weeks, not this Wednesday, the following Wednesday. It's going to be online. It's going to be 5 days, 4 hours each day. So you can find the link for that above. And then we do have an in-person foundation on the Southwest Ranches in Florida, which is South Florida near Fort Lauderdale. My beautiful friend Tara Darlene has gorgeous ranch with horses and tiki huts and healing yoga laughs. So if you'd like a foundation class out in nature, that will be happening March 31st into the first weekend in April as well. And there's lots of other events happening. So you can check out my www.amyshine.net/events for online and live classes. And I hope you got something from tonight. I really, truly truly know that if I can create money for classes or anything at all of you guys can create it, because I don't think there was anyone more fucked up with money and creation than me. When I first came to Access, just last little story, my first foundation class, tonight you heard how I created the money. I forgot to tell you, I also I didn't have money for lunch at the first foundation class. So I brought my snacks, and I made my lunch the night before, and I brought my lunch in a lunch box. And a beautiful friend of mine at the time, I just gotten to know her through Access, Lisa Egan, and she was much older than me. She was a businesswoman. She had money. She was creative. And she saw me with my lunch, and she's like, Amy, you coming to the restaurant at lunchtime? They were all going to the restaurant in the hotel. It's like, no, I'm going to stay here. She goes, Amy, come to the restaurant. I'm going to buy you lunch. And I'm like, okay. And she bought me lunch, and I'll always remember that. And the kindness and the generosity of spirit she had. But the energy I had was, I don't care. I'm choosing this class. And if that means I have to bring my own lunch, I'm going to do it. So are you willing to have that demand of yourself no matter what it takes? So yeah, I've come a long way since then. And so grateful for the tools that showed me that I can create. And if I can create, so can you. So please, please, please trust in you. Start knowing that you can create. Start using the tools. And the more you use them, the more you choose, the more creative you get, the more you're going to start trusting you and knowing that you are creative and you are the source of creation, not money. So start choosing and get creative. Adore you all. So grateful for you all here. Thank you. I will see you again soon. Bye.